Oil is down $1.80 to $69.57 per barrel. Oh, Bob, are you there?
No, I'm not here.
It's just like it's last week or last Wednesday, and again you're not here. Whoever is here, though, is going to have to do a good job. They've learned to impersonate. We may not have Bob Chapman, our world-famous economist here, but we have someone who sounds a lot like him. And we're going to have to work with that for the rest of the program. What is new, exciting, interesting today, Bob?
Well, first of all, on some of you who listen to me in other programs will find that I'm using different equipment and I sound different. And so if you tune in on some of the other programs I'm on and I don't sound like me, it's because I've got this latest state-of-the-art high-tech stuff, and it makes me sound like a radio announcer or commentator as opposed to the, quote, real me. But anyway, that said, what we're doing here today is watching a market that really can't go up. It's struggling not to go down. The volume is dropping and will continue to throughout the summer, particularly during August. Interest rates on U.S. government securities were a little higher today. I don't have the actual closes. Gold held its own. Silver was a wee bit weak. Actually, it's a disappointing week because every time we get something going, it seems to slide back. And that's because I think that they're looking forward, I think it's next Friday, when COMEX and options on gold and silver expire. And I think what the pros are doing is trying to hold the price in this general range between 925 and 935. And everybody looks at the spot market, but the most active market is August now in gold and July in silver. And so you watch those markets more closely because there's more action there, so to speak. But the commercials in gold and silver have written options, and they want them to expire worthless. I don't know what the numbers are on the strike prices, what is available that's long in option form at 925 or 930 and 935, etc. And there may be a lot of them at 950 because they're cheaper to buy, and so I think we're going to have a struggle here. The United States government was in the market at 960. Goldman Sachs has been the seller, and we know that. That's a fact. That the government does the government orders, and Goldman's the seller for the government. And they didn't want gold to close above 960, and that's what we've been going through for the last couple of weeks. But I think after the options and contract expirations at the end of next week, I think it'll take off. And so we just have to be a little patient and look for spots to buy the things that you want a little bit cheaper than you might a month or two down the line. The market is hanging on by its fingernails, so to speak, and it's only a matter of time before it slides back. Whether at this time it'll go back to 6,600 on the Dow remains to be seen, but I don't see it making any great further headway. Reason being, it's already up 40% from its low 2.5 months ago, and it could go higher, but I don't think so. and the earnings reports coming out the third week in July and onward really going to be bad, particularly for the financial companies. And the people on Wall Street have been buying based upon earnings in the last quarter, which won't come out until the third week in January. And that's not unusual that they would buy ahead, but the reason why is the earnings are pretty bad the last quarter of last year, so they figure that the earnings are going to look real good, and when they do come out, then Wall Street will sell into them. So that's the way things go in the market. We still have all the questions regarding the $134 billion in certificates, and I've heard so many stories, I don't know which one to believe. The latest one is the counterfeits. The CASA is working with the Italian mafia and their forgeries, but who knows? And then on top of that, never mind who knows. How about whether you can ever get the truth out of any government, never mind the United States government? So, we just don't know. And we just have to wait and see.
Well, the truth is probably that we'll never know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. This is the sort of thing where if these bonds are legitimate, we have to ask where they came from, and there are all sorts of intriguing questions. If they're real, how did they get there? And it opens up a real can of worms that nobody in positions of power wants open. So from their perspective, it would be a real good idea if we just said these bonds are counterfeit. Mm-hmm. That's all by itself, though. It doesn't make a lot of sense. The idea of people are trying to smuggle $134.5 billion worth of counterfeit documents from Italy into Switzerland. I don't know. It's hard to believe, but the whole thing is hard to believe. We live in interesting times.
That came out of the Neue Zürcher Zeitung, and which is in Zurich, and the Conservative Party is talking about, and how far this will go remains to be seen, putting gold backing on the Swiss franc again. But so that's in the news, and I've got the two stories in English from the publications over there. So subscribers and those who request copies of the forecaster in email, they can get a hold of those releases if they want them by doing that. Of course, the subscribers will get them tomorrow morning. We have a number of interesting pieces of information. I keep on using more and more links, and the reason why is the amount of information is overwhelming. And, rather than use a quarter of a page for an article, I'll use the link for those who are on the Internet. And that's important because what I'm doing, as long as you've got time to look at the links and the articles, and sometimes they're cassettes or whatever they call those things, where you can see and hear the program. And I've got a bunch of speeches in there as well.
There's no point in reinventing the wheel, essentially. I mean, there's so much redundant information on the Internet. There's no point to you writing it a second time after someone else has already expressed the idea. It allows people to get access to more ideas in less time, is essentially what, if they want that idea, go to the link.
It certainly relieves me, especially with all the radio work I'm doing. And so, yes, if I find an article that's good, of course, I have to read it. And if it's good, I just put the link in. Why should I write about it if I can't do any better than that? And so we get a lot of links. And but that's okay. We have an extra big health section this week, as a matter of fact. I mean, all kinds of stuff came through. And There's been a criminal lawsuit in Vienna has been filed against Vienna, Austria, for those of you who don't know where Vienna is, has been filed against Baxter Labs for criminal behavior. This ought to be real interesting. They released that batch of bad inoculations for whatever it was. Maybe it was swine flu. And so the Austrians are going after them. And good, that's good. And you know, incidentally, they're makers of the new batch.